Alright, so I did an analysis for Sirfetch'd in Ultra Premier. Now, does it have any use in Open Ultra League? Well, we're about to find out. So, I've already done enough videos for this gigantic leaf, above average sword, dude that doesn't need any introduction when it comes to wanting to poke you and stab you to death. Sirfetch'd is an incredible Pokemon for Go Battle League. Now, the thing about Sirfetch'd in Ultra League, it has a very high attack and subpar defense and stamina. Well, not really subpar, it's okay. So Sirfetch'd's stats, it basically means it's a glass cannon. If you don't know what a glass cannon is, a glass cannon is something that really does a lot of damage, but is incredibly glassy. Now, Sirfetch'd isn't super glassy, but it's up there just because of the way its stats are. As you see, it maxed out at 2985, so it maxed out close to 2500. So it's going to have that high attack, decent defense, and decent stamina. But it's somewhat like a glass cannon. Just because it does a lot of damage in a short amount of time, and it can take a lot of hits. Now, the thing about its stats is that because it has low defense and stamina, it's not going to take a lot of charms from Togekiss. In Open Ultra League, you're going to see Clefables, you're going to see Togekisses, you're going to see those Snarl/Charm Granbuls. And that's why it is weak to Fairy. Now, flying types, you also see some flying types. Well, not really flying types per se. Well, you do see flying types, but like flying moves. For example, Empoleon with Drill Peck. You'll see Drill Peck. You will see... You do sometimes... Well, this is Ultra. This is Open Ultra. So you do see like Aerial Ace from Excavalier is another thing to be noted of. And as far as Psychic goes, you do have those Armored Mewtwo's with Psychic. So with those things running around, there's definitely some things that actually check our Sirfetch'd, but there's also a bunch of resistances. Usually you'll see Megahorn Excavaliers running around. Megahorn Excavalier is resisted against Sirfetch'd. It also resists Obstagoon's Night Slashes, and if there is, last time I checked, there's not a lot of Pokemon that throw rocks at you, other than like Machamp, per se. But yeah, it doesn't have a. You'll resist some things in Open Ultra, but it's kind of like a 50-50. If you want my opinion, you're gonna see half of what you resist, you're gonna see half of what you're weak against. Well, actually, scratch that. It's like 60-40. You're going to see more weaknesses than you will resistances in Open Ultra, and that's why I'm kind of iffy about Sirfetch'd in Open Ultra League. Yes, there's a lot of Swamperts. Yes, there's a lot of Giratinas. Yes, there's a lot of Cresselias. And question is, in Open Ultra, where anything goes and there are Legendaries and there are Mythicals, can Sirfetch'd give the meta a problem? Now, the thing about Sirfetch'd, if you're watching this video, there's this event recently from the Crown Tundra from Pokemon Sword and Shield that just recently came out. So you should have, or hopefully you grinded for a good Sirfetch'd. Now, it's kind of expensive to power up. It costs about level 29 to 30 plus 50k dust to get your Sirfetch'd powered up. So it's a little expensive. But like I said, the problem with Open Ultra, it can be good for Open Ultra. I'm about to find out. But it's just a lot of its weaknesses do fly around in Open Ultra. So let's just find out and see how good Sirfetch'd is with high attack and, like I said, a glass cannon. A strong glass cannon with a very good move pool, like Sirfetch'd, because it has counter, it has Brave Bird, Leaf Blade, Close Combat, Night Slash. A lot of things that can cover the Open Ultra meta. So let's find out and see exactly how good Sirfetch'd is in Open Ultra. Alright, so Sirfetch'd, as you see in the PV Poke rankings, actually ranks at number 34. Now, that's actually really surprising, because Open Ultra has a lot of Sirfetch'd problems, but that's a high ranking 90% in lead and the closer, a 90 rating is really good. Now, Sirfetch'd seems to find this pattern of where it's not a great switch, but it's a great lead or a great closer. As you see here, it beats Swampert, it beats Melmetal, Alolan Muck, Obstagoon, Articuno, which is surprising. It's like it has some really strong. It's really strong against a lot of relevant matchups. Now its key losses: Giratina, Cresselia. I don't see a lot of Charizards and Venusaurs. You do see some Gyarados, but Sirfetch'd looks like it's going to be actually pretty good for Open Ultra. Like I said, best used in the lead. 34 overall in the lead. The giant sword thingy or giant. I think it's like it's a leak, right? But that's not a leak. That leak is huge. I'm just saying. Anyways, in the lead, Sirfetch'd ranks at number 25. Again, it's strongest in the lead and the closer. You take out Swampert, you take out Melmetal, you take out Alolan Muck, Obstagoon, and Articuno. You see a lot of those things in the... You see a lot of Articuno. You can see a lot of Articuno. You see Obstagoon. You also see Swampert, Amok, and all of these leads are common. So, Sirfetch'd is really... looks to be really good. Now, unfortunately, you do see Giratina A, Gira A, and Cresselia, and Gyarados. You do see all three of those, but Sirfetch'd does look like it's actually a beast in the lead, if you choose to use it in lead. In the closer, Sirfetch'd ranks actually at number 18, which is pretty dang good. It wipes Swampert from the face of the planet with one Leaf Blade. It closed combat and turns Melmetal into a hunk of junk. Escavalier gets yeeted into the next dimension. Poor Obstagoon doesn't even stand a chance, and even beats Lapras, which actually has... You see a lot more Lapras, in my opinion, in Open Ultra than... Well, you kind of see Lapras a lot in Ultra and Ultra Premier, but you see Lapras, you kill Lapras. That's all that matters. And as a switch, like I mentioned, Sirfetch'd does not function well as a switch, ranking at number 94. So you don't want to use it as a switch, lead with it or close with it, it's up to you, but keep it in those two positions. So here's Sirfetch'd in Ultra. In Open Ultra, I put every moveset known to freaking oblivion with Sirfetch'd, except Fury Cutter. You don't want to use Fury Cutter. Counter is one of the best moves in the game, and that's why Sirfetch'd across the board is really good for all leagues. Now, as you see here, I put Close Combat, Leaf Blade, Night Slash. You got Brave Bird. I even put Close Combat, Leaf Blade. I put like practically everything, okay? Now, let me fix this one because that's actually supposed to be Brave Bird, Leaf Blade? Yeah, that's Brave Bird, Leaf Blade. So that's Close Combat with Brave Bird. Close Combat, Brave Bird, Leaf Blade, Brave Bird, Night Slash. Brave Bird, Night Slash, and then we got... Let me fix this real quick. And you got Leaf Blade, Night Slash. So, like I said, pretty much every moveset. So if something flips something, we're gonna see it here. As you see, I have the Ultra League meta right here. I already hit battle, so then we have every variation, because you actually do see some Obama-Snows actually you do see a lot of it in both Open Ultra and Ultra. You actually beat Obama-Snow pretty well. So you beat Obama-Snow with all movesets. So counter is really vital, like I said. So counter actually takes out both versions of Obama-Snow in the 2s. You actually take out Articuno. You take out Articuno in Lead 2. I think do you have to land Close Combat? I'm pretty sure you do. Yeah, you have to bait with both Leaf Blades, but 9 times out of 10, if their Articuno doesn't shield it, well, if they don't shield, it's just going to do heavy damage, but it is a bait-dependent matchup with Articuno. I think you can lose this matchup if you can lose this matchup if it doesn't shield. So if it doesn't shield this, let's see, let's go into sandbox mode. You can, if it don't shield this attack, I think Articuno can pretty much take these Leaf Blades. So Sirfetch'd still wins if it doesn't. So there's a lot of disadvantages. So as you see here, yes, you win the 2 shield, but you're gonna expend probably 2 or more shields, and then you have to Close Combat. So it's a rough matchup with Articuno. And you beat Charizard. I think Charizard's bait dependent as well. In order to beat Charizard, I think you have to bait with Leaf Blade and Night Slash and then Close Combat. So both the Charizard and Articuno matchup are both bait dependent. So be careful with Articuno and Charizard. You do beat Empoleon, Escavalier, Ferrothorn. 3 things which you will see in Open Ultra. Not as often as far as like Ferrothorn goes, but Empoleon and Escavaliers run around a lot, and you beat both of them. You can go, I believe you go straight Leaf Blade for Empoleon, and Empoleon straight Leaf Blade, and for Escavalier, can you go straight Leaf Blade as well? You do, so you can beat Escavalier, and Empoleon straight Leaf Blade. That's really good. Now, you see you have plenty of losses against relevant meta, so even though it's good in the lead on paper, you lose against Dragonite, you lose against all the Clefable users, like I said. You also lose against Gengar, both versions of Giratina, and Granbull with Charm. So, it does lose against... It beats all of BBML with the exception of Swampert, because you can straight Leaf Blade, and Cresselia. So, it's very powerful. You beat Lapras, you beat Machamp, you lose against Shadow Champ just because the counter damage, the extra Shadow counter damage, you don't out DPS Shadow Champ. That's why you lose. The good thing is you beat Melmetal, you also beat Alolan Muck. Now, with Alolan Muck, I'm not sure, do you have to close combat? You bait, you bait, you bait. Oh, you can actually go straight Leaf Blade. So, with Amok, you can go straight Leaf Blade, and Obstagoon, you can go straight Leaf Blade just because... You know, what happened, what's normal on Dark Week 2 both? Fighting. So you punch it to death. Now with Leaf Blade, you beat Poliwrath. I'm not sure about Registeel. I think this is also a, let's see, double Leaf Blade, and then you close combat. So if you just go straight Leaf Blade, you don't close combat, do you beat Registeel? Yes, you can. So you can actually beat Registeel just going straight Leaf Blade. So you don't, you can literally, yeah, as you see here, you can just go straight Leaf Blade. Block both Flash Cannons, Leaf Blade, poof. And you win with a lot of energy left. So it beats Registeel, it beats Poliwrath, you even beat Scizor. Snorlax doesn't stand a chance. It's a very powerful lead. You beat a lot of the meta, but you also have to be careful because, like I said, you lose against Togekiss, you lose against Charmers, you lose against Dragon Breath users, you lose against both versions of Gira. That's actually pretty serious. So make sure you keep away from those matchups. But other than that, like, Sirfetch'd is the boss. So that's the 2-shield matchup. How about the 1-shield? So here's the 1-shield. In the 1-shield, Sirfetch'd, let's see if that flips anything notable. So in the 1-shield, you beat Articuno. I think you still have to close combat this thing to death. So for Articuno, like, the 2-shield is a bait dependent matchup. In the 1-shield, I think, can you go straight Leaf Blade? A big thing about Sirfetch'd is that it generates energy quickly with Leaf Blade. I mean, with counter and Leaf Blade, but, like, as you see here, you can't go straight Leaf Blade into the ones. You need to have, you can't go straight Leaf Blade. You need to close combat it. You beat Shadow Dragonite. I think this one's bait dependent as well. So, beating Shadow Dragonite. That's not too common, so you don't see a lot of Shadow Dragonites. You beat Shadow Dragonite. You also beat Empoleon, Excavalier. Basically, anything you beat in the 2-shield, you beat in the 1-shield. And any notable matchups flipped, there are none. So it's pretty much the same thing. As you see, for like other movesets, you like definitely Leaf Blade and Night Slash is the way to go. It doesn't look like, as you see, Night Slash doesn't really flip anything notable. It gives you a stronger matchup, but you still lose to negative 200 or 300 rating. It's still really bad. So that means you're going to lose. There's no coming back. So it looks like Night Slash doesn't really like flip any matchups going with Night Slash. So those of you that thought that Gira A was actually going to like die quickly to the, I'm pretty sure having shield advantage, Night Slash does well, but with Leaf Blade is like the way to go for most scenarios, especially in the 1-shield. Now here's the no shield. So in the 0-shield, this is where the closer. This is where Sirfetch'd ranks its second best position. So as you see, it's very interesting. So you convincingly lose against Articuno and Charizard now. There's basically no way out to beat them. You do flip some matchups with Brave Bird. This is really... I'm guessing Brave Bird is what knocks out the Charizard and Dragonite. Literally, Sirfetch'd's attack is so high, you literally OKO a whole Dragonite, as long as you land a Brave Bird. That's nuts. Well, not OKO, you take out like 90% of, I would say like 80% of its HP. That's pretty nuts. So, if you would like, Brave Bird does flip some matchups, apparently, versus Close Combat and Leaf Blade. And even as long as you have Close Combat, you can take out Empoleon, Excavalier, and Ferrothorn. It looks like if you don't have Close Combat, you do lose. So Close Combat is a must. You also get Stab, so you get the same type attack bonus with Close Combat, so it's kind of needed. You'll beat Lapras, you beat Machamp and Shadow Champ convincingly now, and Melmetal. You're gonna lose against Shadow Mewtwo, so just be careful. You beat Alolan Muck, Obstagoon, so basically everything you beat in the 2s and the 1s, you still beat. There's nothing that's flipped in that scenario. Except for like what I mentioned before, you do lose against you will lose against Charizard and Articuno convincingly, so just be careful. You do beat Toxicroak and Venusaur as long as you burb them to death. So burb flips closing matchups, which is really interesting. But yeah, it's still very strong. Close combat still does a ton of damage as long as you keep away from Charmers, Confusion users, and Dragon Breath users. Which is like across the board, across all leagues. As long as you keep Sirfetch'd away from, it looks to be incredibly powerful. And yes, you can burp things to death. So Brave Bird does kill. Now, up shields, I'm pretty sure Sirfetch'd turns into a beast. As you see, you still lose against Togekiss and Venusaur in some scenarios. It looks like some, like, Night Slash up a shield can you flip some matchups? Let's see. You still lose against both. Do you lose against both? That's kind of huge. Losing against Gira is huge because Gira is plentiful. And you lose all scenarios. So you'll lose all scenarios against Gira. That's kind of bad. Up a shield though, like I said, as long as you beat Cresselia, you'll beat Clefable, you beat everything but what's resisted against you, and you even beat Toxicroak up a shield. So there are some matchups Night Slash flips, but Night Slash only flips the Venusaur matchup from what I see. Other than that, there's nothing else that's notable that Night Slash is used for. Up 2 shields, you're going to kill a majority of the meta. However, you still lose against Togekiss. You're still going to lose against both versions of Giratina. Oh, that's a lot to ask for, though. You also beat Gramble. You beat Gengar. You also beat... and you lose against Drifblim, but that's okay. So this is the only scenario where Night Slash is really interesting. You beat Giratina A and Giratina O as long as you have 2 shields and you have Night Slash. That's a lot to ask for. You can also burp Gira O to death, I'm guessing, but you can't do that against Gira A because Gira A is too thick. So, Night Slash does have some advantages, but you need to be up 2 shields. The question is, does the 2-to-1s flip this matchup? So is the 2-to-1s, with your opponent having 1 shield, at least 1 shield, does it flip anything? No, you still pretty much lose against everything. With the exception of Giratina Origins, as long as you have Night Slash, so... the 2-to-1s, you can beat Gira O, and in the 2-to-0s, but it looks like you still lose against Gira A because it's too thick. Like I said, you beat pretty much everything but Armored Mewtwo. Anything you're weak against, like Togekiss, you'll still beat, like, really strong matches, but anything you're weak against, like Clefable, Cresselia, anything you would lose hard against, Drifblim, Galade, both versions of Gira, but Gira O with Night Slash, you will win. So, it does look like Brave Bird does flip some matchups, but not... these scenarios are very, very like... if you get into a scenario where you're the 2-to-1s and you have Burb versus a Gengar, what are you going to do? You're going to Burb it or Night Slash? Well, you're going to Night Slash it to death, of course, but yeah. You see what I'm getting at. But Sirfetch'd is really good. Leaf Blade is still the way to go, but it's very interesting. In summary, Sirfetch'd for Ultra League, it's not bad. If I had to give it a rating, it's a 7 out of 10. Like, it's the reason I give it a 7 out of 10 is because you still lose too hard against a lot of Sirfetch'd's weaknesses, like Clefable, Togekiss is plentiful, Gira A, there's a lot of them. And to ask, the only scenario you do flip, like I mentioned in the cons, Night Slash only beats Gira up 2 shields. So unless you absolutely just eviscerate your opponent, and you have to spend 2 shields for Sirfetch'd, that's really bad. As you see, with Sirfetch'd in the 2 shield, we go to Ultra League in the original IVs. It wins 70% of the matchup, so it's still very good. It does belong in its place. The pros are Sirfetch'd is very strong against things like Empoleon, beats Excavalier. You can beat Articuno and Charizard. So there's a lot of good matchups that Sirfetch'd has. Along with that, the cons are some of those matchups are bait dependent. So some matchups, like key matchups, like Articuno for sure is important because you need to bait with shields. So some of them are bait dependent. That's why I give Sirfetch'd. It's not compared to Ultra Premier. Sirfetch'd is actually a lot weaker. It would be better to use Sirfetch'd Ultra Premier than Open Ultra. As you see, as we analyze in Open Ultra, Sirfetch'd is still very powerful. However, because of Gira A, Cresselia, the only one of the big 3 you beat is Swampert. The rest are running around rampant. You can still expect to see a lot of, you'll see some Shadow, you'll see some Armored Mewtwo's, you will see some Clefables, you will see Charmers. And because you have to pivot away so much, more so than I think in Master Premier. So because you have to pivot so much away from those matchups, Sirfetch'd is not great for Open Ultra. It's still good, you can still make it work, but the only way you're gonna beat Big Ghost Dragon is if you're up 2 shield and you have Night Slash. Other than that, it doesn't seem to be worth it because Leaf Blade does flip matchups like Poliwrath. You do yeet Swampert to death in one shot. You can also straight Leaf Blade against Empoleon. It's up to you. Sirfetch'd is still really good in Open Ultra, but if you have an if you are using Sirfetch'd for Ultra League, you might as well just use it for Ultra Premier, where it ranks much more powerful and it has a lot more use. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this analysis. I hope you guys have a great day. Again, Sirfetch'd, high attack, somewhat subpar defense, and it's a glass cannon, okay? It's a great glass cannon. However, for Open Ultra, it's not great. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you on the next video.